Thank you so much for bringing this to fore. I must, state that yes, we have systematic barriers, but we have to leave that space of entitlement. As women, we're so entitled. The men will fight you for anything like they would fight any man. That's natural instincts. As women, we must recognize ourselves as the majority in the country. First, your attitude will determine your altitude. So already we feel like victims. So we're waiting for people to do things for us. Whereas, if it's got to be, it's up to us as women. Like you've rightly mentioned, that women were leading in every sector. Everywhere I go, even when they do interviews for beneficiaries, you see that there's more women in the space. When you talk about micro and small businesses and nano businesses, women are leading. We talk about agriculture, women represent 70% of the smallholder farmers. And we kind of contribute 80% of the output in agriculture, despite the barrier when it comes to access to education, to financial education, access to finance, access to market. So these barriers do exist, and we still triumph. So now we have to go back to the table to see how can we galvanize, how can we work in a more coordinated manner. The gender space or the women's space is naturally abused. Why? Because the global lens is on only two things as of today: climate change and gender. So resources do go there, global resources. So people just want to do, and also when it comes to women, people forget that there's an authority that can upscale and upskill. So people do a lot in their own spaces. So women's activities are underreported. We're doing so much. In the this time next week, I'll be presenting our country statement on progress for the last 30 years since Beijing in New York. I'll be leading the delegation. But if you look at our report, I had to review it because the report was being done before I came into office, because it underreported on our progress in the last 30 years. It underreported on our progress.
So are you saying we have made progress?
We've made progress. We've made significant progress. It's only in Nigeria that you see women leading in many sectors. We have over 10 MDs, that are MDs of banks in the banking sector. It's never happened in the previous 30 years, or in many countries it does not exist. We've had 2 Supreme Court judges. Chief Justices are women. So that means we've been able to rise in that sector.
And in governance?
In governance, we continue. Okay, in governance, in the last 2 heads of the Nigerian Immigration Services are women. It's never happened before. I stand before you as the one and the only police minister globally that is a female. The policing role is a male-dominated space. Nobody will see a woman to be able to create policies for police. But we've been able to even attain that. So you see that there's progress, but for us to be able to make significant progress, we have to work with concerted efforts.
Well, if you say we have made progress in terms of